Welcome to Camp Hansoome, a beautiful place for the convocation of comely men.
I don't have a very strong pick preference, except that
Now,
I try to avoid
here's your
thin
host,
and medium Fender
Grammar
picks because
Club.
they break. But
They
most
do.
other picks are fine.
They break a lot.
Medium Fender picks are just the worst. I mean, the thin ones, you just buy them in such a high number, you throw them out after 5 or 6 minutes.
I don't like how smooth they are. They're too glossy.
Yeah, exactly. They're too
they break way
glossy.
too
They're
easily.
brittle. They give an ugly tone. They feel bad in the hands. They slip out of the hands. They give you poor control. They're the worst picks I've ever used.
There you go. All right, shall we go ahead and start her up?
Yeah, did we not already?
We might have. Welcome to Camp Hansoome.
Hello. A special makeup
And-
episode.
Yeah, that's exactly what ends up happening when life gets in the way, as it often does.
Yeah.
And so I'm Glenn Case.
Hello, Glenn Case. I'm Todd.
I was go on. I was figuring each of you would probably also introduce yourselves, maybe.
I'm
This
Shale
is-
Riley.
This is me.
See, there you go. And hi, me. How are things over there?
They're pretty good. Pretty good.
Does that count as talking to myself?
No.
Or no, I didn't think it probably would. But we're doing a makeup episode, as was mentioned previously. I don't think we have a specific topic in mind, so that means you're in for a fun roller coaster of
Just shoot the shit.
yeah, shooting the shit,
Talk about
freestyling,
sloths.
freestyling, as it were. Yes, they. I do believe that they live slow and they die whenever,
That's true. It's very true.
except for the ones that are involved with Goonies.
Do you want to tell the story about the album title's origin, where you and Sean
I feel
found
like
those
you-
sloth memes? So we've done this before. Have we done this before?
It's possible, but I imagine people could use a refresher.
Maybe.
Because it's fresh in their minds. They're listening to the new song. They're probably loving it by now. They've probably listened to it about 16 times a piece.
I hope
And-
so. I have.
Yeah.
Me too. I got to be fully honest with you. I wasn't feeling the demo at first, but then it grew on me as it started coming together. And now,
Yeah.
To me, it sounds like a Bond theme. It's
That's
like
what it's
it's
supposed to
almost
yeah, I think that was the
Yeah.
idea.
Yeah, maybe I didn't convey that in the demo very well, but I'm glad it came out over time.
Yeah, that'll happen sometimes. The songs grow, change, expand, especially when you have other people who put their input into it.
It's true.
It's like the Too Many Cooks thing, but except it sometimes works.
So what do you think happened that changed your mind on the song?
I don't know. It started fleshing out and coming together.
Yeah, it was always fleshed out in my mind. I guess that's why I always liked it, because I always just, I wrote several vocal parts in a MIDI.
Well,
and
part
I
of
just
it was,
listened to it and
we
imagined
have the MIDI strings, right? And at first I wasn't feeling it. And I was thinking, maybe I should replace these with some more realistic strings. And then I was like, that's not me. That's not what I do. And I decided to embrace the cheese.
Yeah,
Nice.
I just figured I'd give you the option. I didn't know what you wanted to do, and I thought I knew you might embrace the cheese. I think it would work. It works. It works fine.
It does.
Oh, absolutely. And I can say it's the first time that I've ever had it to where a vocal part was written out for me, but specifically where there were MIDI notes to let me know what notes were intended for me to sing. And I thought that was actually a pretty clever tactic.
Good, because I've written another one like that.
Your mission, should you choose to accept it, live slow, die whenever.
Slow, got to take a lot life slow. You could watch moss grow on me, head to toe on me, at the rate at which I go. Gas, moss produces gas. No, I don't expect you to talk, not tonight, but I do expect your last. Die will never, die will never, die will never, die will never. If you get the feeling, hang around from the ceiling on a toenail tether.
It would be my pleasure.
Pull the lever, begin the leisure. Your heart beats steady and your breath is measured. When you're at a party, eat a tray of Bacardi, then solo dolo, party never. Only Professor Sloth knows when the gas wears off. Step a little bit closer, arboreal polosa, three-toed mammal.
Yeah.
It's cheesing these gaspers off, turning them into sloth.
Yeah. Come on. Don't feel you live too slow. Life on the line, baby, just don't go 100 million miles in a minute won't last. End up on your ass and so in cash. Started to invest, but the whole thing burst. Maybe take a leap, but I won't go first. Chilling with the missus and I put in work, and I got a lot of time, baby, that's my quirk. Getting so mad, a song wrote itself, and I tried to get a word in, but I don't need help. Hands wave in the air like the man at a fell. Gave myself 1 Grammy, 5 stars on Yelp. It's madness. I'm a casualty of these self-inflicted tragedies. And I said it when I meant it, and I meant it when I said it, but now we gotta run because they'll be here in a minute. But it's okay. It's alright. It'll be better tomorrow, yeah. And so, for now, we'll live slow and die whenever you're feeling
Die
it.
will never, die will never, die will never, die will never. Sleep in the daytime, come out April to May time in a comfy sweater.
It would be my pleasure.
Pull the lever, begin the leisure. Your heart beats steady and your breath is measured. Go to a party, eat a tray of Bacardi, then solo dolo. I'm one handsome grandson.
Excellent.
It'll be
It was a
coming,
first, though. I've
yeah, it's got.
never had anyone do that.
I've just written a song with a 3-part harmony for actually just the 3 of us in the chat right now.
Oh, see, so then we can get on the same page about that.
Yeah.
Are the patrons able to know details about that ahead of time?
Sure. Well, it's the demo working title is "You Can't Get There From Here," and it's great. It's a good. It's good. I'm in this kind of experimental phase. I don't know. I guess.
That reminds me of a freeway exit.
Yeah.
I think it's when you head to Seattle. I think it's either to Seattle or Portland. Might be Portland now that I'm thinking about it, where most freeway exit, if you take the wrong exit off of a freeway, it's no big deal. There was one that had a specific sign that in no uncertain terms said that if you take this exit, you cannot get back on the freeway. There's no way back to the freeway from here. Huh. And I thought that was especially interesting.
That is pretty good. I
don't know how that works.
I mean, exactly. It seems like it's an impossibility.
Yeah, you would think, but it's the freeway, travels both directions, and there's no on ramp back onto. I imagine there's probably a way if you drive like way through town and you can come back to it. But the fact that they felt that there was a need to have a warning sign about that was fascinating to me.
The song, kind of like Live Slow Die Whenever, doesn't have a very traditional pop structure. It starts with, I guess, a verse. It modulates into a chorus, and it goes into a rap bridge, and then it's just a half of a chorus at the end, and that's it. It's a minute and a half.
Sweet. Yeah. So I would imagine that would be one of our upcoming Monday things.
Yeah, I think so. It's got 3-part vocal harmony, parallel harmony for me and you, Glenn, and it's got counterpoint for you, Ty, and also.
Are we doing parallel fourths?
No, it's more thirds. It's kind of fourths we've done with
we did on That Way.
Yeah, that's what I was
There you go.
gonna say.
Music math.
Yeah. Yeah, that modal sound, that Gregorian Chant rock sound. That's what AIC always sounded like to me.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's you've got a strong point with that. And the Benedictine monks of Santo Domingo or whatever that is.
Yeah.
That was the thing for a while.
You lost me.
Well, thanks for listening to the show.
No, guys, don't worry. There's a thing called truncate silence. It'll make
Excellent.
this all sound excellent. It'll be 7 minutes long.
What are these
That'll be
Benedictine
beautiful. We're done
monks you're
recording.
talking about? I don't.
Are you not familiar with that?
I'm
That
not
was
familiar.
it was a little flash in the pan thing where they decided that it's album that's called Chant, and it's like these old, religious, not really hymns, but like the and they put a beat behind it, and it was on a flash in the pan on the radar for a short period of time, and then they never really had a follow up. It was like one of those things you would have heard like on a Pure Moods CD.
Yeah, that's very 90s. That like kind of new wave.
Yep.
Or not new wave, a new age.
I will say that my wife bought the CD, and it was big enough for a period of time that there was a parody of it as well. Although I can't remember the specifics of that, but like they gave the monks like rock guitars instead. Now I've
Okay.
got to look it up.
Okay.
You could see where that. It was enough of a cultural phenomenon and a blip on the radar for long enough to merit a parody album.
Nice.
I would like to see a YouTube video of them playing live. Maybe
Playing
I'll do
parody live or the chant live.
the chant.
Okay.
And it says sources agreed that the music had been recorded some years before it achieved worldwide fame, but the exact dates appear to be elusive, according to Wikipedia, and consisted of recordings made between 1972 and 1982.
This gets weirder and weirder.
Oh yeah, it was successful in 1994.
What does successful mean?
According to... Again, I'm just reading Wikipedia. I'm not going to lie. That's what we're looking at here. Yeah, there was a sequel album that was a holiday album that was released in 94 as well. And then, there we go. The album was spoofed by members of the comedy rock band Big Daddy.
Big Daddy.
Yeah, and they produced a bookend CD entitled Grunt, Gregorian Chant from Snaudo Domoinko de Silo. So there you have it. No, admittedly, with me, it's not a matter of what I am obsessed with. It's not a matter of if I'm obsessed with something. It's what I'm obsessed with. And recently, that's been episodes of the Beyond Yacht Rock podcast.
Yes.
Is that a real thing?
Yeah, it's fantastic.
You tell me about this.
Yeah, well, it started off as a YouTube series about 10 years ago on a thing called Channel 101.
Yep.
And that was the guy who portrayed Christopher Cross in their fake rock history stuff was Justin Roiland, who would go on to make Rick and Morty.
Mm-hmm.
And Dan Harmon was involved in it. But 4 of the people who were involved in the making of that show come up with fake genre names, and they come up with what the top 10 would be for that genre. And then they also rank whether or not songs would be considered yacht rock or not, because it's become a very big term. They created this term, and all of a sudden, it's huge. There's Sirius XM radio stations devoted to it. There's bands devoted to
rock.
it. But
Yeah, I've been noticing there's been a resurgence of yacht rock lately.
Absolutely, but the problem becomes that they came up with the term of it. They didn't copyright or trademark the name.
Yeah.
So obviously that didn't work out so well for them. There's a lot of these other people that are now profiting off of the term yacht rock, where they're really not getting a piece of that pie, despite having come up with the term itself. With this series that they did on YouTube. So it's been fascinating just hearing what songs they think constitute real yacht rock and what's not, what's close but not on the boat.
Do they have a consistent criteria?
Fairly. Their main things that they say for yacht rock is it helps if if it's got some complexity to it, like especially like if the drum rhythms isn't just like a real basic thing. If the lyrics
Toto.
are not... Yeah, Toto, it is specifically... If there are band members...
Toto is yacht rock?
Oh, yeah, big time. Not every song.
Really?
Not
Is
not
Africa
every song.
yacht rock?
Africa made the boat.
Really?
They have a
'Cause
they have a website called yachtornyat.com
Yeah,
that shows all of the stuff they've
I guess
done.
I don't know my yacht rock.
Well, the idea is that if a member of Toto played on it, then it probably has a better chance of being on the boat, as they put it. It's amazing just hearing the four of them go back and forth and give scores. Anything 50 or above is on the boat. Anything below 50 is not on the boat. And they give it an average score.
How do you find this stuff?
Well, through friends, basically, in this case, because my friend Chris Ryder, a.k.a. Pray for Mojo from Songfight, showed it to us. And the best line is a fake John Oates putting a fake Daryl Hall against the wall and screaming, "No more songs about Sarah! Get your dick out of your heart!"
Wow.
Get your dick out of your heart.
That's beautiful.
It is. It's brilliant. And this was Dan Harmon was involved in the show as well and everything at the time. But yeah, it's
oh man.
Yeah, it's well worth it. I laughed so and I listened to this while I'm working at my day job, and I was just listening to the Oh Sherry episode and the Sussudio episode, the Phil Collins Sussudio episode, where they did the countdown. Number 10 was Sussudio by Phil Collins. Number 9 was Sussudio by Phil Collins. Number 8 was Sussudio by Phil Collins. All the way to number 1. And apparently on occasion, they'll get to number 1 and it'll be all I want for Christmas is you.
This is a currently... What?
That's exactly it.
Wham!
No, this
Wham is Yacht Rock too.
This is conceptual humor that is beyond the pale.
It's so wonderful. It is so wonderful.
Tell.
That's why I love it. I'm obsessed with it right now. I would say Wham is probably not Yacht Rock. I don't know if they've put it out there, but the idea is that it has to be smooth.
Can you give me sorry, go on.
Go on. Yeah, no, it has to be smooth, and if it's not sentimental, that helps.
Okay.
And if it's complex, especially really good complexity to the music, not overly sentimental.
So
that's
then
one of the key
Blues is out.
So
Blues
the Pina Colada, the
Pina Colada song does not make the boat.
Get out of town. Come on. It hits that criteria. It's got some complexity. It's not sentimental. And what was the other one? It's smooth. Come on.
I think there are other, but I think they also said that song's super shitty though. Too, was their actual.
Oh, okay. Are you sure? Sure?
What about
can any genre really? Is that
Rupert Holmes has a 35.25 with Escape the Pina Colada song.
You can't justifiably just add that criteria. It's got to be really good because why not add that to every genre?
If you would think. No, I have to listen to that. I have not listened to that episode yet. But one of the other things,
Todd Rundgren.
I'm curious. I would say that Todd would probably make the boat with certain songs, but I don't know for sure if they've. I haven't heard them do a Todd song yet. So yeah, there are 2 Todd Rundgren songs that they have tried thus far. Neither of them have made the boat, but one of them is from 2017, so that makes sense. He made a song with Donald Fagen called "Tinfoil Hat," which is an anti-Trump song.
And it's contemporary Yacht Rock.
And to them, it didn't make the boat.
It didn't make the boat.
Did not.
What was the other Todd Rundgren song?
"Hurting for You," which is a song I actually have never heard. And it has a 38.75. So Todd has yet to get on the boat.
I bet "Hello, It's Me" would be on the boat.
I think "Hello, It's Me" would be one that they probably should do. And they do take Twitter suggestions with Yacht or Yacht as the hashtag, but they're overwhelmed with possibilities for suggestions that people have said too. So yeah, no, but to give an idea, and I think you may have been starting to ask this, Shale, what are some quintessential Yacht Rock songs? The Doobie Brothers.
Yeah, I was going to ask if you could list a few quintessential Yacht Rock acts.
And I'll give you the top 5 that are on here. The Doobie Brothers, "What a Fool Believes" is the only song that has a perfect 100. So it's really if the lyrics are about
that is the one. That is the quintessential track. If it has a perfect score, it is the
that's the one.
Yeah, the example.
Other ones that they've got that are near the top: Kenny Loggins, "Heart to Heart."
Okay.
Michael McDonald, "I Keep Forgetting Every Time You're Near." Kenny Loggins again, "This Is It." A band called Airplay, "Nothing You Can Do About It." There's Kenny Loggins again, "Who's Right, Who's Wrong." Toto, "Rosanna."
Again.
Yeah.
Okay.
Toto, of course.
So you got Michael Jackson, "Human Nature."
Really?
And the reasoning behind that is you have there's members of Toto, most of Toto plays on that.
Yeah, I can hear it now. I mean, I hadn't thought about that song, but it does hit that criteria very well.
Yeah, absolutely. Christopher Cross, Sailing, George Benson, Turn Your Love Around, Steely Dan with FM. Al Jarreau is a big, what they call, there's also like subgenres that they come up with, like yacht soul, yachtsko, which is yacht disco. It's well worth a listen at this point.
Is Sitting on the Dock of the Bay yacht soul?
You know, it mentions water.
Yes. Okay.
Amazingly, no, it is not though. Because another one of the criteria is for it to be considered yacht rock. It tends to be from about 1978 to 82. That's just a sweet spot for
Summer in the
piano is
City?
one of the key things.
How about
Now that's probably still too early.
Love and Spoonful, Summer in the City. That's not yacht soul.
That might be what they call proto yacht, which is
It's a good one.
stuff that leads up to yacht rock. Electric piano is the big thing. If your song has what they call e-piano in it, then there's a stronger possibility of it being considered yacht. It's this sound that was very. Deacon Blues is on there, by the way, very strong. Anything that's above a 90, they call essential, and Steely Dan's Deacon Blues is a 91, so it is considered an essential yacht rock.
Can we do a yacht rock cover of Smells Like Teen Spirit?
Oh my God, that would be amazing.
Difficult to pull off, but
You have to
fun.
Well, no, you force it into a major key, and then I'll do like a Richard Cheese on top of it.
But yeah, if nothing else,
actually, I just described Richard Cheese's cover of Smells Like Teen Spirit. Never mind.
You did. You totally did.
Never mind.
Whatever the case, it's my current obsession at this point because
You gotta get those shuffle drums, the electric piano.
Done.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Three-part harmony.
There you go. You've nailed it. That's exactly the right sound, which is why. Oh, and here there are a number of songs that people say are yacht rock that they are especially get irritated about, and the biggest one being Jimmy Buffett, which they say Jimmy Buffett is smooth but shitty.
I see.
So Jimmy Buffett's Margaritaville has a 2.75 on the.
I like
scale.
that song. It's a good song. Those people are wrong.
In a number of cases, they'll say that songs can still be good, but not yacht.
Okay.
That's the key. It just doesn't belong in the classification. I believe they gave that one the classification of being what they called marina rock.
Marina.
Does it lack like the requisite drop of pomposity that yacht rock needs? Is that what it is?
I think that might be part of it. It's entirely possible. But like, yeah, the lowest rated one on the entire thing is Led Zeppelin, Fool in the Rain with the 2.25.
That's very not.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Why would anyone even think? Why would that even be checked?
There you go. Someone has checked with. Someone was clearly trolling them when they asked him to do the Oak Ridge Boys as well, which also ranked very, very low.
I've been noticing a resurgence in new yacht rock too, though.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And there are some and I think that they have a term for that, which I don't recall, but I think it is new yacht as well.
New yacht.
And there are some songs that have made the cut that are fairly recent. There's a David Crosby one from 2017. This band called State Cows that I had heard about through a Google ad of all things that had said, hey, if you like Steely Dan, you might like State Cows. And I checked them out, and I did. I did like them.
Can we
heard of a band called Ginger Root?
I would love that, because why not? State Cows' Mr. White has a 79.5 and was released in 2013. It's probably one of the more recent songs that has made the boat.
Why are we not doing yacht rock? Why have we not done this?
Actually, that's my plan in June. I know what I'm going to do with my next Glenn Case album, and I have it planned. Well, one of my next ones.
You're doing a whole yacht rock album.
Kind of fake yacht rock and Beach Boys-esque style thing. I'm basically want to make a very summery album.
That sounds excellent.
Yeah, just very, very, very fun, upbeat. You know, we'll see what the state of the nation is by that point.
I stopped checking on that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I can't do it.
There's only so much that before it starts driving you a bit crazy. So
can we do a yacht rock song as a group about a yacht with a drill on the front that can just go through anything? And this yacht won't stop. This yacht won't stop for anything. This yacht will drill through anything. This yacht will drill through anything. This yacht won't stop. This yacht won't stop for anything. This yacht will drill through anything. This yacht will drill through anything.
Yeah, I could see there's potential in that, actually. So
this yacht won't stop. This shot won't stop for anything. This shot will do anything.
But that doesn't have the doobie bounce. That's the other thing that they
It's
have
not.
that they talk
this
about.
Is not
the,
actually
the
Yacht
doobie
Rock at all.
bounce. No.
Modern club.
There you go.
I did a very bad job of being quiet here just now.
Yeah, well, there was hand clapping, but you were excited.
I forgot. Yeah, I wanted to convey the rhythm.
Yeah, I can understand.
I think I cut out when I pitched my other ludicrous suggestion, which is a Yacht Rock cover of Nine Inch Nails' Closer, 3-part harmony, put it in a major key.
I imagine that would be humorous, if nothing else.
I think I would enjoy doing that.
Ty, I think you should arrange it.
Okay,
there you go.
Just write a vocal MIDI part for like I did, and me and Glenn and you will sing it.
Okay.
Absolutely. But for anyone that is still listening, though, I would say that the YouTube series of Yacht Rock, definitely worth your time. Very, very silly. It gets progressively more morbid as it goes on.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, well, because you got your main guy that's the host is this guy named Hollywood Steve, who is a genuine record reviewer. Like he's worked for All Music and places, and it starts like, "Oh, hi, I'm Hollywood Steve. You caught me, chilling in my den or whatever."
Oh, and he's eventually become like a serial killer.
Oh, hi, I'm Hollywood Steve. You've caught me murdering a homeless woman.
Right. Yes.
Yeah.
Let's see where that goes.
Yep. Yep. And then Drew Carey steps in and
Oh man.
Yeah. So,
Not what I expect.
Episode 8, he's trying to take Hollywood Steve's gig from him. And, yeah. And then they have I think in episode 11 they have Jason Lee in there portraying Kevin Bacon. So it's all just fake history of how some of the music was made in the late 70s and early 80s. There's a kidnapping where Jimmy Buffett kidnaps Kenny Loggins, and yeah,
So
that's partially where the song "Footloose" comes from.
How is this portrayed? These actors, I assume.
There's a blow dart. There's
Okay.
a blow dart because, of course, that the idea. It's so ludicrous and ridiculous that trying to describe it is not the easiest thing, but I will. Try my best with it. There's a hotshot movie producer that wants a great soundtrack for the film Footloose, and Jimmy Buffett's willing to make one, but he's gonna just make a song about like cheeseburgers in paradise again. And so Kevin Bacon says that he wants Loggins to be the one to do it, but they have to trick Loggins into making the song, and so they decide that kidnapping him is the best way. And so then Michael McDonald and James Ingram come to Kenny Loggins' rescue, and the whole part about cut Footloose is to like cut his foot loose from like the ball and chain that is attached to him, and then it turns into a big murder spree at that point because it's everybody cut, everybody cut, everybody cut, everybody cut is cut everybody. So I believe it's like James Ingram hacking people up with machetes and stuff like that.
Excellent.
Yeah, that's, like I said, it gets a little more morbid as the show progresses. That's episode 11 of 12. So, how have things been going there for you, me?
Oh, pretty good.
Awesome.
Same old, same old.
What have you been up to? You been playing gigs or doing things?
Working on Live Slow, Die Whenever.
That's a very noble quest, and now people have had a chance to hear it, and they can react to it and leave comments. That'd be a good thing. And is that Shale we're hearing in the background there with the door? No?
I don't know what that is. Oh,
There you go. That's the sound of...
opening a can of beer.
You think it's beer?
Could be.
Yeah, I'd say that it's probably beer. Maybe.
There's a good chance.
Maybe Shale will tell us.
What's that?
What?
Oh, I can hear you again. Good. I couldn't hear anything, so I got up I got a soda, and then I came back.
It's
my
a
connection.
soda.
See, there it is.
No.
It's a soda.
I'm off the beer.
We guessed it was beer, and we were wrong.
On a low carb.
So what did we release on Wednesday? What was that?
We haven't released.
Gosh.
We haven't decided yet.
Goodness gracious.
Probably
We've
something Sean
gotten
did.
a bit behind, gentlemen. What?
That'll happen.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. With the album coming up, I think we're all shifting into a sort of different gear to iron out the kinks in our existing songs, which is taking us away from our non-stop production schedule. That's okay. We have I don't know. What are we gonna release on Wednesday?
Well, we have options. I will say that. Let me look at some of
I
our
think-
options.
Wait, what'd you
here.
say? You cut
I
out
think
there
it's
at the worst
probably-
possible time.
I think it's probably a Taylor Swift cover by
Yeah,
Sean.
that's a good call.
Oh,
that-
yeah.
that-
See, we do have something on the works. It's good.
Yeah, absolutely. That would be good to, I believe I should probably upload the audio for that from my vocals. That'd probably be good.
Yeah.
I'll do that right now.
We're on top of things here at Camp Hansoome.
Oh, absolutely. No, I'm working on my 6th album that I've released this year, although this one's not mine. It's my sister-in-law is putting together an album called Bittersweet, and she just came over this weekend, and we've almost wrapped it up. I've got about 3 more songs to complete harmony vocals for, and then that will be released by Molly Starlight and the Sputniks. Bittersweet.
Excellent.
Look for it in stores and places.
On the internet.
Yep, it's usually the case. Do we don't have a covers folder, do we?
I think Sean made one somewhere, but don't ask me where it is.
Yeah, I'm looking, and I'm not seeing it yet. But
What are we looking for?
I'm looking for
I did
where I
not
would
hear.
upload my vocals for that recent thing that I did.
You'd upload that recent what? Oh gosh.
Oh, yeah.
My connection.
Yeah, no, it would be the Taylor Swift cover. I'm uploading my vocal
Oh, that thing.
performances.
Okay, now I hear it.
Yeah, I'll turn this up a bit. That might help.
Hello, Shale.
This is riveting.
Goodbye, Shale.
Is he gone again? Oh man.
He's lighting up, but
Well,
nothing comes out.
I thought I was the only one that was allowed to have technical difficulties today.
Yeah, apparently everybody.
Except Ty. I think Ty's on top of it. Oh, no, he had some issues earlier too, didn't he?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Linux stuff.
Yeah. I don't have exported versions of my vocals yet, so I will wait until after we're done recording here. But, did anyone do anything? Prime Day just happened. I think it's still kind of happening as we're recording this. Anyone do any
Prime
Prime
Day?
shopping? It's like Amazon's thing, where...
This is
like,
the first I've heard of this event.
Okay.
Me too.
So this is probably about, like, I don't know how many years they've been doing this, but it's been a while. Like, every year that around this time, they have what they call Prime Day, where they have ridiculously good deals on certain things for people who have Amazon Prime memberships, at least.
Oh, do they have sales on synthesizers?
Amongst other things,
Oh, man.
yes.
Do they
I
have
want
some
to get me
guitars?
one of them Blofelds.
I don't know if Amazon's got those or not, but if they did,
They do. They do.
There
have
at
them.
least be a possibility that it would be on for a ridiculously good deal today. But it was trending on Twitter for a while for Prime Day, but for the wrong reasons, because they were having server issues. People were trying to go and get their good deals, and instead they had cute pictures of puppies that were apologizing for the network issues. Little known fact, but if you try to access Amazon and they're having problems, you just get a picture of a cute dog.
I did not know that. I've never seen the cute dog.
Yep. No, you've been lucky in that regard. But that was it was happening to enough people that it was trending on Twitter yesterday as the number one thing was people were wanting their Amazon Prime Day, and it was not happening for them. There are apparently people who have taken like the whole day off to do nothing but shopping, like Amazon shopping that day, and then their dreams were squished. So, being that you have not heard of it, it's pretty safe to say that no, you did not partake in the sales that they have going.
I'll have to go check it out.
Yeah, absolutely. It should still be going for a little bit longer. It's a 36-hour thing, so it's probably on the tail end of it, but it's not bad. One of the things that my wife decided that we were going to go ahead and get was a fairly inexpensive projector, and yeah, she thought it would be fun around Halloween time to play like The Nightmare Before Christmas on our house.
I've been thinking about getting one of those little cube projector things. Have you seen those?
Yeah, I have actually. Those
The pocket projector.
They seem very cool. Yeah, absolutely. I imagine that they might have those as well.
I think a projector would be really nice if you're planning on doing stage setup.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's the other thought that now is just now coming to me. But it bears to mind that if with SpoCon coming up, if I have visuals to play behind the Glen Case and the half racks and or beefy sets, then that could be fun to have stuff playing behind us on like a screen or something.
Yeah,
but then
that's a good idea.
that was I was hoping to do something like that for the Grammar Club. Now that I think about that, like even if they don't have a projector there, we could just bring our own. That would probably work. That's the beauty of that. That's for sure.
I think we
I think
Sheila again.
I think we've officially
No, I can-
lost.
I can hear
Sheila.
you.
Oh,
I can hear you. It's sporadic. I've just been quiet because it seems like when I do start talking,
that's when it
doesn't work.
dies.
Yeah.
Good
I will say
times.
that some of the other fake genres that the Yacht Rock guys have come up with have been pretty funny too. Not some of them not so much funny, but just like interesting. They had Synthesize, which is like synth pop songs that you would exercise to.
Yeah.
Wrestle Rock, which is just what you would think it is. It's wrestlers who decide to.
I think we were
going to
do some wrestle rock for a while.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. That's a great genre. Wrestle rock. Wrestlers who
Yeah.
also make music. We talked about Macho Man Randy Savage's rap.
Oh,
album,
his rap
I think.
album is pretty great. Yeah, and Dance
It's-
Boss.
Yeah.
Dance Boss is another one that they came up with, and it's
What is
specifically
Dance Boss?
Dance Boss is songs where the lead vocalist is instructing you to dance, and especially like the more
instructional dance songs. Yes.
the more pushy they're being, the better. Like if they're really like acting like a boss and saying you've got to do do this.
that reminds me of our song off of MC Horse. Dance, you motherfuckers.
Yeah. That's the whole point. That's the whole joke.
There you go. So it unfortunately didn't make the top 10, but it would have definitely been a Dance Boss song. Oh, Canadian Classical. That was one of them that was an interesting. Canadian Classical is songs about Canadian Classical is songs about hockey.
Oh, okay.
Oh, like the Zambonis. Their every single song is about that.
It's about hockey,
The only
yeah.
thing they write about. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know that band, the Zambonis? They're a band.
I know about what a Zamboni does at a hockey rink. Yeah.
Every single one of their songs is about hockey, and they have like 3 albums or something.
So they're a Canadian classical band. There you go.
I don't know where they're from, but I guess they are that genre.
And another genre that they did a episode for was Dew Age, and that's DEW, like as in Mountain Dew Age. So it's like new age songs that are extreme. Like they have that '90s edge, and that's I believe that was where they Benedictine monks of Santo Domingo came into play in that countdown. They talked about those guys.
Okay.
So it's like something
We've
like
come full circle.
we have.
I gotta say the dance boss genre, or the instructional dance genre, as I previously called it. That's real fertile ground. We really could do a whole album.
We do a whole album of that easily.
And I would really just, we could all write, but I think Beefy is the guy who should just do most of the instructing.
Oh yeah, without a doubt.
Like I wouldn't want to create an alter ego for Beefy and then do an entire 10-song concept album where it's just this guy telling you how to do different things. And maybe it walks you through a narrative, like he tells you how to do all these things, and then if you do these things in order, it tells a story.
Sure. There it is. It just, why not, right? One of them, I've not listened to it yet, but one of the episodes I'm looking forward to listening to is a Divorce Core. So there's...
Divorce core?
Divorce Core, yeah.
That's
So
a
there's-
genre?
One of their fake genres that they came up with was divorce core, and I mean it sounds pretty obvious. Probably songs about divorce.
Like what would qualify?
I have no idea because I've not listened to that episode yet. I'm looking forward to listening to it. Have not listened yet. What do you imagine would qualify? I would imagine the more bitter the song, the better. Like songs about having a divorce, probably.
I really can't think of a single song from that genre.
Specifically about a divorce. I don't know. Pina Colada.
She got the
song
gold
sounds
mine, I
pretty
got the
close.
shaft. Yeah, you'd have she got the gold mine, I got the shaft by Jerry
is
Reed.
it?
Yeah, because that whole
Maybe
entire thing is
I
actually talking
am responding
about,
to something I don't think I'm responding to because I only hear you every other 5 seconds.
Oh no.
Sorry.
I imagine
I was saying
if
I can't think of a single divorce core song.
If the songs
I don't know
have
if we've
anything
moved
to
on.
do with her moving on and taking half of his stuff, then that's probably divorce core. That would be my thought. And the only one I
How
can
about
think of offhand is she got the
Jonathan
gold.
Colton, Want You Gone? What do you think?
There you go. See? Perfect.
I mean, it's not. You can make the read, though.
Yeah, absolutely.
You could make the read
you could
if you
do
divorce
something
it,
that would make
no
it
pun
tie it into
intended.
that. Yeah.
from its original context.
Anything where you can take what the original intentional context was and then twist it. Yep. Absolutely. Well, on a completely different note, I finally successfully got my Sega Saturn to be able to play CDRs.
Oh, yeah.
That's pretty great. YouTube's wonderful for explaining how to do these things without having to open up a machine and solder. Because, fun fact, I have never soldered anything.
Somehow I made it through my entire life without playing a Sega Saturn.
Oh, well, that's not too surprising, though. You know, it was going up against the Sony PlayStation, and the Sony PlayStation wiped the walls with the Saturn.
I had a 64 and a PlayStation.
Absolutely. Well, and part of the problem that Sega had going on with that is that they kept releasing new consoles far too close to one another.
Yeah.
Like they'd put out the Sega CD and be like, oh, yeah, well, here's the 32X that's coming out. But on the horizon, we're putting out the Saturn. It's like, and you put out the Saturn, it's like, and we got the Dreamcast coming in a year or two. It's,
yep.
You know, historically, they said that was the reason that Electronic Arts jumped ship and said, if you're not going to support your consoles, we're not going to either.
Yeah.
The idea is supposed to be that you have 5...
Yeah, they were already screwing up around the time of the Sega CD and the 32X.
Oh, yeah, big time. And I believe they have said that there is no example of an add-on to a console that has ever been successful, where it's been wildly successful, you know, where it's something where you have to purchase something and then you buy an add-on, and that add-on has been just gangbusters. That's never happened.
Does the Rumble Pack for the Nintendo 64 count?
I think that's more like a peripheral. But like if it's an add-on that you have to purchase in order to play games, I mean, the closest I could think of for that would be like the expander that they did for the N64 that would you had to have to
the
play
disc drive,
Donkey Kong
the DD
64
or whatever it was called.
Yeah, if that would have come out, then it would have definitely qualified.
Yeah.
Yep. And outside of that, though, like that's apparently that has something to do with what their memory expansion thing is that they did that only supports a handful of games too. Thankfully, I can't say that that's something that I've heard of. The last one that I've heard of, the most recent one that I've ever heard of that was an expansion of sorts, was apparently on the Xbox 360. They had an HD DVD adapter.
Really?
Yeah,
I thought it came with the HD DVD drive.
It's entirely possible that could be the case, but my understanding.
But it would not surprise me if you needed some extra peripheral just to watch HD DVD movies on it or something.
Yeah, specifically that. That's what it was. Apparently, I could be wrong, but I believe I definitely had heard about it, but I think I may have even seen one in a pawn shop, but. I was like, oh, that's weird. We'll move on from there. I'm looking it up to see.
Talk about a failed format.
Yeah, well, and it's almost always some sort of a, you know, whether it's Betamax versus VHS or HD DVD versus Blu-ray.
Remember PSP video?
Oh, yeah. There you go. Yeah, and sure enough,
UMDs, some even weirder ones.
Yeah, and it was an add-on, and it was the Xbox 360 HD DVD player that they made for the 360. That was
I remember
apparently
that,
a thing. Yeah, that's it.
How many movies even came out on HD DVD?
I bet you there's a specific number, and I'm going to look it up.
14.
I'm guessing it's probably somewhere between 100 and 200.
What's funny about that generation, the Blu-ray versus HD DVD media war, is that they both lost. To a great extent, because physical media in general is just going on the way out. According to Wikipedia, again, there are currently 511 movies in the list of ones that were released for HD DVD. So I was under the actual amount, but I can't imagine. That's a very small number of movies.
Well, yeah, when you think about
on the grand scale of things,
without a doubt,
for a format, you know.
Now that makes me wonder if there's a similar statistic for beta.
Oh, I don't know.
I'm sure there are many more films.
Way more Betamax ones. Yeah, I'd say that's definitely got to be in the thousands.
Yeah. You're looking at probably 10 to 100 times as many Betamax releases, I think.
Seems reasonable. There we go. Home movies, home and professional recording.
Let's see. Apparently, as of January 1st, 2015, there were 16,640 Blu-ray movies.
Damn. Yeah, that's a little bit of a different.
It's a bit more. And they're still coming.
Have you ever heard of a add-on for a video game console that was super successful, Joe?
Yeah, the PlayStation.
Super successful.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, gosh. No,
It kind of became its own thing.
Not really. I mean, there's some really great add-ons, but they're few and far between. I think my favorite add-on is the Game Boy Player for the GameCube, but I didn't
Hell
actually own
yes.
it.
Yeah.
But it's a great accessory. First of all, it fits the form profile beautifully. It keeps everything flush. It keeps the system pretty and symmetrical. It keeps it sturdy. It works reliably, and it does something that nothing else had done since the Super Game Boy.
Super Game Boy, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
So
remember
it's
Super Game Boy.
it fills a niche. Play all those old Castlevania games on the big screen, and they're pretty great. Those the Soma Cruise Castlevanias. If you haven't played those, they're very good. I recommend them if you like Symphony of the Night or other Metroidvania types.
Die, monster.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I love Castlevania Symphony of the Night. That and Super Metroid might be two of the greatest games ever made.
Remember when the Sega CD came out, and it just really blew my mind that consoles could be modular. Because I'd seen the consoles, I don't know, I had to be 10, 11 years old when the Sega CD came out, and I'd been playing games since I was 5. So I never stacked anything on my Atari. I remember the Game Genie seemed like, okay, I get it, but I get it that's not licensed and it's cheating, it's breaking the system, but there's no way an official console
I had a tape deck for my Atari.
Oh wow! Yeah, there you go.
Oh wow! Right, I forgot the Atari PC. It did have a tape deck. Yeah,
Atari 800 and Commodore 64 had that as well. And
yeah, I had some games on tape for Commodore, but I never actually loaded them correctly.
Coleco was the one that went completely nuts with it. Coleco with the ColecoVision had the Atom computer that was an add-on with a keyboard with a disk drive and all of that. But on top of it, one of their most popular expansions they had was something that allowed you to play Atari games on it.
Really?
That would be like now, someone, like Nintendo coming out with something that played Sony games.
This reminds me of something from my early childhood that I've been trying to find for years and years now. When I was like 4 or 5, I went to California to visit my uncle, and he had some kind of old video game system. I don't remember what it was, ColecoVision or something. But I remember that it had these controllers that were like knobs.
Okay.
They weren't really joysticks. It was just a knob that you could turn left or right, and that was it.
Yeah, and that sounds like the Atari had those, where it was like for Pong and stuff.
Yeah, kind of like a Pong paddle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it had this train game, and I've been trying to find this train game ever since.
Huh. I'm trying to think of what that could possibly be, because
it was like a top-down view of like a railroad track going around, and you had to like close and open the gates to get the trains to go into the right places.
Okay.
Weirdly,
that right there sounds like a game called Donald Duck's Playground, but it also wasn't
Duck's Playground.
Yeah, it was a kid's game, but it was more like on the Commodore 64 where they had that. There's one of 4 modes. It would be Donald Duck that was actually choosing which lanes and everything. So it may not be the right one, but what you just described, that's one of the mini games in Donald Duck's Playground.
I'm gonna have to look into that.
Yeah, that could be your winner. But it also wouldn't have been with paddle controllers, so I don't know.
Do you remember the form factor of the paddle controllers? Were they the little black
I do not,
and
man.
Orange?
This is like 27 years ago.
Because I have a couple of vague recollections of paddle controllers from my youth. There's like there's the Vectrex that didn't have a paddle controller exactly.
Not that I'm aware of, no.
No.
But there's a lot of Pong.
Had a paddle controller.
There were a lot of Pong games, of course, that came with the paddle controllers, but the Atari's really the main one that had it, because they released a good number of games that supported it too.
Does anyone remember a controller that had like a faux wood finish on 3 of its sides, and then on the surface with the knobs on it was just like brushed aluminum or steel, probably aluminum
I remember one kind of like that, but it didn't have knobs. It had buttons, almost like a calculator.
Yeah, yeah. There were some really interesting.
That might be the Intellivision.
I think it was related to the tape deck, actually.
There was a lot of interesting.
Oh yeah, the history of those,
computing stuff.
Where Atari ended up having to beat Fairchild to the punch. There's a thing called the Fairchild. God damn it, I can't remember the name of the actual thing, but it was the first home console to have interchangeable cartridges. So this other group, Fairchild, had come out with the cartridge technology before Atari. And when Atari caught wind of it, they said, we've got to get this out to market and beat them at this. Because otherwise, Atari had also been working on it, but then they had to rush it out the door to beat the Channel F. That was what it's called, Fairchild Channel F, which is just a footnote in history now.
Then they rushed too much.
Yep, that they
Crashed
did.
the market.
They assuredly did. Make no mistake. To me, that's the one thing that I've not heard, like, from this new Atari that they're making, the Atari box.
Is that still happening?
Yeah, it had a very successful, like, Indiegogo or one of those things where they made a whole lot of money on it. It remains to be seen whether or not it's actually going to come out, if they'll take the money and release the product, or if they'll just take the money and run.
I haven't watched them, but YouTube keeps serving me videos about how the new Atari system is a sham and it's vaporware and it's never going to happen.
It very well could be, but the one thing that I specifically have not seen them do is talk about having the paddle controllers, because they're talking about it playing the retro games, but there's a lot of those good retro games that required paddles.
Yeah,
and
why
they're
not use the paddle controller?
And they're not making paddle controllers for it, as far as I can see. They've got two different types of controllers. The one that's like the regular joystick with a single button, and a more modern controller that looks more like what you would have on like an Xbox or PlayStation.
Can it use just USB controllers, other USB controllers?
It's entirely possible.
The Steam controller
like-
emulates a paddle okay.
Is it like Android based or what?
I believe it's supposed to be Raspberry Pi based in some or something. It's something more along those lines, at least. So.
Speaking of successful Kickstarters, have you guys heard of that NES Maker thing?
No, I don't even know what that is.
I have. I've heard. Yeah, someone is it's like an NES dev kit or something. Or
Yeah, it's like Game Maker for NES. You make your own NES games.
Yeah, that does sound pretty amazing. Actually, I would love to do that.
Hell yeah. Make your own NES game. Grammar Club NES game. There you go.
Hardware correct.
We could.
NES
we totally
games.
could. Yeah, we could totally do that. Get Ricky to do his sprites.
Obviously, there's a lot of songs that you've already got where you could just do chiptune versions of them.
Yeah, or some of them already have chiptune elements.
There you go. Just roll with that.
I mean, like some of them even have, a lot of our songs use real NES already. A lot of our me and Ty, a lot of our older stuff. We were doing the Double S Backfire stuff. And occasionally, maybe there might be, not sure, there might be real chiptunes in one or two Grammar Club tracks, although not too many.
Nice. I just purchased a 301 NES cart. It has not arrived yet, but I'm hoping that there's going to be...
Does it have Cheetahman?
I hope so. I hope it has so many. I hope it has so many shitty games on it. One of the ones that I saw that it was advertised was Super Mario 14.
Excellent.
Super Mario 14.
Yes.
The higher the number, the better.
Yes. And the videos that I've
I'm
seen
hoping
on
it's like Super Mario 2014.
Yeah, it's something along those lines. It's clearly a different game where they just substituted a sprite of Mario, but he's super huge in comparison to what he should be. And it looks like it's going to be perfectly awful and something that I can subject Travis to for Traverses.
Yes.
So that's definitely the whole point of that. I think I paid all of $15 for it. And
nice.
And the game list, and there's almost like this MS Paint version of the Ninja Turtles that are on the menu screen. So I'm quite excited. Although apparently it's not supposed to work in the classic original Nintendo ones unless you have. There's the 10 NES.
Oh, the
chip.
Cyclone chip lockout. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. But I have a Toploader, and so the Toploader they didn't put that in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, the 10 NES chip is not in the Toploader, and one of the few modifications that I've ever done successfully is one of my original Nintendo units. I followed online instructions and removed one pin from one of the chips that's in there, and then that disables it. So, and it was kind of I was doing the, there's some sort of a hack of sorts where you need an original copy of Super Mario Brothers, not with Duck Hunt, it has to just be Super Mario Brothers, and tennis. Have you guys heard about that? Okay,
no.
So the idea is that you play tennis for a moment, and then you hit the reset. In fact, actually, I think at that point, you quickly remove the cartridge of tennis in the middle of playing. You then put Super Mario in there, hit the reset button, and you will be playing one of 256 random stages that were never meant to be a stage in Super Mario. And the idea behind this is that it's grabbing a piece of memory that's shared between Nintendo's version of tennis and Super Mario, and that has to do with what stage you're on. So you would have, like, you know, obviously there's World 1-1, 2-1, 3-1, you know, and all of that. So what this would be it would be World 9-1, 10-1, you know, A1, B1, C1, D1, like, you know, and
it's just using tennis's hex values to load stages into Mario. Yeah,
and it's essentially randomly generated.
Right. Yeah, that's clever.
It's
clever.
So there's.
I mean that means there must be then a software Mario random world generator.
Yeah,
I'm sure there is.
You can count on it. But no, I've done it on the real hardware, and it is hilarious. And the more that I'm thinking about that, I may have to have them do that on Traverses this Thursday.
Yeah, I would like to see that.
That'd be funny. That'd be really funny. Yeah. So
I gotta try that randomizer for Mario. I don't know why I never thought to try that before.
Oh yeah, it's and like you say, I'm sure there's someone out there that's already gone through the trouble of doing that, so you don't have to do the crazy part of that. Because you know, Super Mario and Duck Hunt is pretty common. The original just Super Mario cartridge by itself, not as common, but I do have one.
Super Mario and Duck Hunt and World Class Track.
Hell yes, all three of them. I never realized that game Stadium Events that's so ridiculously rare and expensive is just a glorified version of World Track
and Field. Yeah.
It's the same exact game. It's just that it has a different company name.
Slightly different, like, title screen and a few different graphical elements.
In every other respect, it's the same thing, which is just ridiculous.
It's worth like $5,000 or something.
Yeah, it's utterly ridiculous. It's clearly nothing to do with the quality of the game. I mean, otherwise,
it's the most expensive NES game.
Oh yeah, and one of the most expensive Atari games is Chase the Chuck Wagon, which
is that a real title?
It's a real title, and it's even more ridiculous is that it's based off of a dog food commercial from the 80s.
Oh
nice.
No.
So there was Chuck Wagon brand dog food. And
that's why there was a video game industry crash.
Exactly. You could only get this game by mail order. You had to buy Chuck Wagon brand dog food and mail in your UPC.
Like Chex Quest, only shitty.
Exactly. Even worse.
You know, now that I think about it, the old video game crash, in retrospect, is very similar to the more recent indie game boom-bust cycle we've gone through.
Oh,
Except that there's a AAA industry now that's just completely ignored the whole thing.
Yeah.
And kept the game industry going.
Yep, that's exactly it. It's
like, but back in the Atari day, there was no AAA counterpart. It was just the whole scene was indie, and it just blew up.
Exactly. It's option paralysis, like anything. You know, there's so much of what is out there that competes with
market
itself.
Saturation.
Even
saturation.
my clones got clones.
That's the thing. It's the Wild West. It's market saturation. Even my clone got clones, and nobody knows what games are good anymore. There's just too many coming out.
Yep, until you get one of them that is hot enough because it's doing something that's interesting enough that by word of mouth, people will, you know, it's like, oh my God, you got to try this game, you know, because it's super shitty or because it's super great.
It's just become like any other, I guess, indie art scene.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. Well, there you go. I think that's pretty much an episode. We've gone for about an hour.
Yeah, sorry for my technical problems.
Mine too.
Thanks for keeping us afloat with topics there.
Trying my best, that's for sure.
Yeah, well, thank you, patrons. Thank you for listening.
Oh, wow, that's beautiful.
Nice. Tune it up.
We're gonna drop D or whatever the equivalent is here. It's like a Days of the News song or something.
It is like that.
Camp Hansoome! Camp Hansoome! Today there were three of us, and about three topics we discussed.
Parallel.
Hey! I don't think they can hear me. At least not clearly. And there we go.
Good.
Excellent.
Good. Very good. Thank you.